Hello and welcome to the 6th episode of In the Studio with me, Donny Carr. So today I wanted to show you mid-side EQ and how I would use it in one of my projects. I have a track I'm working on. I've showed you this track before. I've done a little bit of work on it, not much, but I've added a few percussion elements and a few extra drums and some high-end drums, some tambourines and rides and a few things like that. And I want to show you how I would implement mid-side EQ on my drum bus. So let's get right into it. I have iZotope Ozone 7 pulled up here, which has mid-side capabilities right there. But there's lots of plugins available that have mid-side EQ. I know Logic's stock plugin can do it, so can Ableton's. Unfortunately, FL Studio, the parametric EQ doesn't have mid-side built in, but there's a cool little workaround in Patcher with two parametric EQs, a stereo shaper, and you can route it up really easy. And maybe I'll show you that in a different tutorial, but I don't want to do that today. It would get too long on the video. So if you want to see that, let me know. But yeah, so let's get right into it here. I also have the HEQ pulled up, and you can use that as well. I love this EQ, which has a mid-side. So anyways, yeah, let's listen to the drum bus soloed. So without the kick and the bass, let's just mute that really quick and listen to my drum bus here. So that's what we're going to be applying mid-side EQ to. So how I would maybe approach this is think to myself, well, what do I want to do to the signal? What do I want to do to this sound? And I want to emphasize the higher energy on the sides and the lower energy down the middle. So how do we do that? First, let's solo the sides. Okay, now let's boost it. So let's grab band 7 here. 10K is a great spot. Let's boost it. Let's say around 3 dB. Okay, it sounds good, but how does it sound, with everything else? So let's listen to it in context. That's very important. It definitely emphasizes the sides a little bit. It feels like it almost widens things out a little bit without even widening anything. You're just, using mid-side EQ to do that, which is super handy. So that sounds good. Let's cut some of the lows on the sides though. We don't need that much low energy down there. Let's listen to it one more time. Just the drum bus though. Oops. Let's grab band 1 and let's cut some of the lows. So a lot of times the way I like to EQ is I'll maybe start with the instrument soloed out, whatever I'm EQing, and I'll say I just want to cut the lows a little bit. To figure out a good spot to do that, I'll solo it out. I'll start with an extreme cut and then dial it back until it sounds natural. It kind of just comes back to life, and then I'll check it with the mix and and do the same thing just to find the perfect spot for it. So let's just do that here in isolation. Let's just dial it back until it sounds natural. I'm going to say somewhere right here. Yeah, we can afford to even go up to about 300. About 300 here. All right, so that sounds good. Let's check it in context, though. All right, I think maybe back off this a little bit. Pull it down a little bit. Maybe there you go. There we go. That's a little bit much on the 3 dB, I think. All right, let's hop over to the mids, and we're actually going to cut a little bit of the lows as well, but not quite as much, because we want to emphasize the lower elements in the mid signal here. Let's do the same. Let's listen to it soloed out without the kick and the bass. Oh, that's still the sides. Let's hop over to the mids. Let's solo that. I'm going to say somewhere around 80, because I still want the lower, a little bit of the lower frequencies there and the percussion elements. I think it just gives it a little bit more weight and power overall without clashing with the kick and the bass too much. And I haven't even EQ'd those yet or done any processing on them, so I think that sounds good. Let's listen to it in the mix though. Now let's listen to it without the EQ at all, without the Ozone 7 equalizer. Let's unsolo the mids though first. If you listen closely, it's not a huge difference, but it's definitely a difference. You can definitely hear it more focused, and you can hear it widen out a little bit. And those are both good things. But we can definitely even make this a little bit better. Let's, instead of boosting the very highs here on the mid signal, let's try boosting some of the higher mids, or some of this presence area maybe, to give it a little bit more, just a little bit more smack, a little bit more clarity. So I'm actually going to do this in context. Let's play the mix, and I'm just going to kind of sweep the frequencies here on the mid side, and we'll see what kind of stands out. So let's do that. think right at 3.5, 3.6K sounds good. So let's obviously pull that back. It's a bit much, and widen it out a little bit there. More wider boosts sounds more natural than a really narrow boost. So that's what you generally want to go for, unless you're kind of doing sound design, or unless you want it to sound kind of artificial. So let's boost this maybe a dB. See how it sounds here in the mix. I'm gonna say right around a half dB or so sounds good. Now what we can even do to emphasize the sides on the drum whistle even more is pull down the mids. This is because we boosted there. Let's just pull it down a little bit. Not a lot. There you go. It just made just that little extra space. And I think it's definitely working nice. So let's do one more A-B comparison. I'll play it without the EQ and then switch it back in, kind of do a swap back and forth for a second, and then so you can hear it. So let's listen to it without the EQ. With. I think that's working well. I hope that you can hear the difference, and I hope that if you didn't know about mid-side EQ, that I hope this tutorial was helpful, and I hope that you can use it in your productions. Please leave a comment below. Let me know if you wanted to know about the routing and patcher to make the mid-side EQ work for parametric EQ if you're a FL Studio user. So yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care.